When I first decided I wanted to be a professional musician, I was 21. I was finishing up college at Indiana University. I was finishing my degree in philosophy. So I had to think of something. And playing music had always been a dream. So I figured I'd try that. I called up a friend. I said, let me join your band. The only thing I knew how to play was trombone. And I wasn't even that good at the trombone. But I promised him I could be at least entertaining on stage, so he let me try it out. There were 6 of us in the band. They let me stay on board. I fell in love with it. And this was our dream, our passion. We wanted this to be our jobs. Unfortunately, the world did not want us to pay us to play music. We could not get a paying gig in Indiana to save our lives. Everywhere, Bloomington, Indiana, and the local Borders bookstore, the best paying gig we had. 6 of us would go in for a 90-minute show, and they would pay us $60 in gift certificates. So the band leader and I, we were like, this is going to be our job. We got to do this. And we called and called and called, and nobody would hire us. So he and I, we started calling places in Los Angeles, and San Francisco, and Seattle. We were like, hey, we're coming through town. And they hired us. And we learned the secret of the suitcase expert. If you go 2,500 miles to do something, people automatically assume you must be pretty good at it. So we went out on the road for 7 weeks. We did 37 shows in 7 weeks. We made just enough money at every show to buy gasoline to get to the next show. We slept on friends' couches. We had a tent in the trunk in case we had no friends in town. We ate boiled potatoes out of the back seat. We got to eat out twice in that entire 7 weeks. Both times it was McDonald's. And man, was that a treat. And we got home. And we actually had enough money left over to pay our rent while we were gone. And I was like, and I think there were like $5 extra. And I was like, we're cash flow positive. This is going to be my job. This is what I'm doing for a living. And my friend Kevin was like, this is something I will never do again. So I did it myself. I got back on the phone and I started booking shows around the country, and I started doing it myself. And of course I had to teach myself to play guitar. I had to start writing my own songs. And as a writer, I don't know if there's any writers out here, but when you sit down to write songs, it's hard. Really hard. And what I learned is I would stare at that blank sheet of paper. And I learned a couple tricks. Make sure the TV is off. Make sure the radio is off. Make sure nobody is talking. Just you and that blank sheet of paper. And as you stare at it, as you listen to the silence, you will begin to hear your own ideas moving in the back of your head, almost like there's voices in my head. And I sit down, I stare at the blank sheet of paper, and the voices, they begin talking, and they're telling me what to write. And they say things like, there I am, staring at the blank sheet of paper, and my mind is thinking, Well, I was trying to write kids' songs, and I've written over 350 songs in my career, and I learned that ideas are not something we create. Ideas are something we find. You just have to go look for them. And I wanted to write kids' songs, so I started to read kids' books and write songs about them. And teachers began to notice. And I was at a Borders bookstore in Las Vegas. I did a show, and after the show, a couple teachers came up and they said, you talked about all these books in your show. You sang a song about Alice in Wonderland and Captain Underpants and Jack and the Beanstalk. Would you come to our school and promote reading? And I was like, yes, I would. That was my plan all along. I came back to Indiana, and I created the Read Like a Rockstar program. And I thought, this is great. This is a way for me to have cash flow. And, well, I can get my music out there and build my rock star career. And what I learned years later was that I'm not selling music. selling motivation. And the music is used to motivate and inspire. And it started off motivating kids, and then teachers began asking for tools, and so I started doing research in psychology and looking through books to find more ideas. And I came back to my Rotary Club in Portland, Indiana, and I said, here's the research I put together for teachers. What do you think? They started hiring me to speak to their employees.